Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world, and you, wonderful, wonderful individual. Today, I would like to speak about the living, divine, and spiritual development and evolution that we need to cultivate the proper senses and inner organs, spiritual organs, not necessarily physical either, to be able to perceive and to truly come to an understanding of our own inner soul spiritual reality and being in relation to the physical. So of course we would have to go inwards, getting to know ourselves, bringing light into the darkness and knowing our own weaknesses, fears, insecurities, inadequacies, and so on. If we ignore that, if we deny that, it will constantly affect us subconsciously. By having come to an understanding through consciousness, clarity, and inner observation, you come to understand yourself. Also in relation to other individuals and how you are operating differently based from individual to individual. For we have to adjust ourselves from our own interests to their interests and so on. How flexible are you? At the same time, how anchored and strong are you in your own individuality at the same time? It is about not losing oneself and be overwhelmed by other groups' forces. You know what I'm saying here. When you go into a group, let's say that group ended up doing something outrageous, you are conscious and clear enough that you will walk away from there. You will not partake in such things, for as individuals we have a responsibility. And hiding behind any kind of group impulses and such is not an excuse, it is weakness. It is about holding oneself individually strong and also knowing we are part of this whole. It's a threefold reality. We have outer sense perceptible reality with necessities and, we all are cooperating and helping each other on this planet. And on the other hand, we are individual. We are making our own choices, asking our own questions, comprehending reality in our individual sense, which also can become the objective sense. The subjective is the objective. We just need to truly grow into it. As we say, it is a steady progress. We cannot be in a hurry here. We need to stay steady and listening and open so inspiration can come in when we are ready for it. We cannot force. They will not give us insights as long as we try to push and force and be generally a wrecking ball, you know? It is about a steady sturdiness that counteracts our otherwise dark impulses that might occur if we have not gone inwards to try to come to terms with them, transforming them, making them a personality trait that is a quirk and an enjoyment more than it is a pain for others. We have a responsibility what comes out of our own inner being. Are we going to use others as excuses for hatred coming out? Are we going to use all of these impulses of struggle and strife in the world to constantly be in conflict and turmoil with others? Or are you, despite all of this chaos and all of this turmoil, are you developing yourself so you can actively counteract this through your actions, thoughts, and feelings? Or are you participating in it and believing you are fighting against something when you truly are part of what you are fighting? We do not use the demon's weapons against demons. We use love, we use compassion, we use insight and understanding. For the more of us that awakens, the more and more into a wall they will back up into a corner in the end. For we will know what we morally and ethically and in beauty wish to see in this world. And anyone that fights against this will become hindrances and adversaries to be overcome. It is truly a reality, and I stick with the hierarchy and the Christ on this one. If I were to choose between the whole of mankind today and the hierarchy and the Christ, I would go for the Christ. For he is humanity. He is the future of mankind. So, holding on to that. And even if everyone was ridiculing you, you still know the truth. For we truly have come to esoteric understandings of certain matters. Because of these insights, you cannot be shook that easily. For we know that the end game is not really an end game either. But in the long run, we will come to see what forces are. What forces are favorable here and what forces are more or less a detriment. It is all about the balance, the equilibrium, the middle. For none of these two extremes will ever have the solution, healing, or insight necessary. It is like we choose the same. We choose Lucifer or Ahriman over and over and over and over and over again, and don't think of the Christ, morality, insights, and redemption 1 millimeter. We don't take responsibility for our own inner being in a true sense yet. Until we can do so, think independently and at the same time morally, and not being a constant pain in the ass, but actually being a inspiring light to the world. It is a balance here. How we present the truth is also important, not only presenting the truth. You can be the biggest asshole presenting truth, and no one will listen to that. But when you put out truth, yes, it might be uncomfortable, but how you present it is enormously important. How you present yourself is enormously important. The means is just as important as the end, if not more important. How you move towards the end is far more important. There's no such things as the greater good. That is an illusion Ahriman created to have the masses comply to certain demands that no human being should have that kind of power. And you know this. We are individual beings. When we all come to an awakening of our own unique color, tone, and uniqueness in relation to its objectivity. You see, uniqueness can still be within a divine frame and be objective still. For this uniqueness, this composition of you, this building up of you that you have built up through many lifetimes, is still within the frame of the universe. There is nothing. We cannot know what we don't know, in a sense. If we don't know it is not there, we cannot know it, in a sense. We won't even think of it. It's like me saying there exists a strand. You know, trying to come up with something weird like that. No, everything within the confines of the cosmos, of the hierarchy, of the divine hierarchy in general, already exists here. But we need to cultivate the proper faculties, abilities, and spiritual organs to be able to perceive it. And that requires a steady, living evolution. And you feel not only we evolve, but the lower beings below us. That means the backward spirits, the demons, the devils, and the elemental spirits, and all of these are also evolving with us, through us. Same with the higher worlds, they also do so. But the lower beings can only develop and redeem themselves through the higher worlds and through the Christ and through us. For they are discarnate beings. They are not physical beings. They don't have bodies, but they affect our will impulses, feelings, and thoughts. And, well, Ahriman is the master of fear. He is the master of insecurity, of skepticism, of that gnawing feeling that constantly is there, you know? And he is a master of filling our being with any kind of confusion. Now, counteracting him requires us to actually have clear thinking, and not materialistic thinking. For that is a passive thinking that comes from going beyond inertia when observing. We don't use our thinking faculties whatsoever to come to the atomic world. It is the inertia world. When you go out with your five senses, observing the world passively without using your thinking faculties, without using your alive thinking, forming pictures and life, you will come into the atomic world. That is the Ahrimanic world. and you just fall right into him. It's so easy that way too, because he has such easily digestible pamphlet of reality, when reality cannot truly be comprehended that way. It cannot be comprehended one-sidedly. It cannot be comprehended in math. It cannot be comprehended in the atomic world, because that is congealed electricity. It literally is. And to come to, well, the atomic world already, there is finer substances, there is finer realities that is far, far more sublime than the atomic. The atomic is mechanical. It is harmonic. And yes, you can see that world of death, of decay everywhere that has to do with life or minerals. But wherever there is life, there is a counteracting force that constantly fights against death, the breaking down of minerals. We have an etheric body, life formative forces, the forces of life that counteracts us becoming a statue, a rock, breaking down into powder, breaking down into dust. That indicates we do not partake in the physical reality, the rules outside in reality. Neither does the plants, neither does the animals. And as long as there is a blind spot there, as long as that is but theories, lukewarm, maybe it's like that, maybe it's like this, maybe someday we find out, ignoramus et ignorabimus. We don't know, and we will never know. We will know. This is a temporary, the cognitive limitations we have now is a temporary stage of our development. We will move past this. We are in a very peculiar state right now. And unless we can overcome it through our own inner mastery, well, we can wait forever till the impulses come. But are you waiting for someone else to give it to you? Are you waiting for someone to digest the esoteric knowledge for you? Are you here to have someone force you to learn? Are you here? Do you need to be forced? If you need to be forced, you are not perceiving the world correctly. It is about freedom here. Your inner will to action, your inner will to understanding. And it is your responsibility, just as mine, just as him, her, to come to comprehension, to understand, to have a certain clear insight as to where you are going. For either you take a stance or you are a sitting duck. You are dragged everywhere. Maybe there, maybe there, maybe there. Instead, when you hold strong to an inner value, inner practices, there are just certain things you do not participate in. There are certain things you just do not do. For you know, the higher worlds are not very fond of it. That was just a mild example. For as long as we hold in alignment to the higher worlds, to their moral impulses and to the Christ, to his redemption, knowing that when we pass through the gate of death, we come under him and the Holy Spirit and Father. Instead of when we pass, we go towards the sun, and when we are out in the cosmos, we suddenly look down on earth and see the Christ there, and I want to go back. For that's where redemption is, on earth. He is here. He moved his sphere from the sun to the earth. So when we die and go out to the cosmos without having acknowledged the Christ, we will see him down on earth. And we will be compelled to come down there again. Also to make amends for karma and so on. We ourselves choose to come down. We are never forced. And you will do it again and again and again and again. For your personal opinion in this today is irrelevant. Your soul and spirit never lies. And that is the beauty of it all. So, every facial expression, every, body language, of course you can stay You can stay stuck as a pole and try to not bring any kind of expression or any kind of body language. But in the end, people will already know that what are you trying to hide? Why are you doing that? It's so silly. Come on. Be a human. Be a human being. Be, but at the same time, have it tempered. We need to meditate and hold ourselves sturdy and strong within ourselves to hold this fire tempered. For if it flares up, we go outside of our body. It's like our body pumps up to huge proportions and we lose our own inner independence in a sense. And every impulses can come into our being. That is when we go into a certain panic mode. On the other hand, we can also completely shut ourselves off and just don't listen and just be a rock. That is the other way. So either you can become a cloud that doesn't, you cannot even grasp it. And on the other hand, it's a rock, so you're talking to a wall. But both of them are walls in their own right, because none of them really takes in any kind of inspiration. It's their way or the highway. But the world is so more manifold and variable than that. But redemption comes only from one source, and that is the Christ. And that is a esoteric cosmic truth. So that is the only truth we really can depend upon in the end. For everything that comes out of truth as that will reflect upon the spiritual esoteric core of the Christ and his hosts and the hierarchy, bringing alive reality again. So every single impulse that comes into your life truly is the hierarchy and impulses of development and growth, even the struggling and suffering. And it's through suffering we learn and grow the most, if we of course can overcome it. Not that easy always, but it is a path worth taking. Never giving up, never letting yourself be bullied to suppression, to submission, to surrender, but allowing yourself a steady, consistent dedication to truth and to staying strong in your own inner being, development, and feeling the impulses and the inspiration coming from the higher worlds. And that requires us to be silent and awaiting orders, kind of awaiting impulses of suggestion. For it is not truly orders. We can choose to ignore it or we can choose to follow it. When you first have come to a connection, you choose to follow it, obviously. It is like, I cannot truly come up with an example that can explain it, but let's say you found a stack of money. No, that's not. Anyways, I digress. It's about you becoming independent to your own inner thinking, feeling, and will, not being dragged by groups and what everyone else says, but coming into your own values, morals, ethics, and understanding of the reality that is, and not listening to 2 cents that has not been reflected upon, 2 cents that are not worth anything today. There are just opinions and speculations and theories. We need to have a reality. We need to take a stand. We need to stand for something. And it's best to stand for something moral and truthful, ethical, good. For, well, the results, I will leave you with this today. Thank you so much for listening to me. I will having a weekend break, so we'll see you after the weekend. May you have a fantastic weekend yourself. May you be protected, guided, blessed, loved by Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, angel masters of all, ancestors from every incarnation. And may you be provided for with all that you need to survive, live, thrive, being creative and inspirational to others, so others can be the same if they choose to. Being a healing force, allowing for change. And before a change and growth can occur, there will be a lot of pain, turmoil, upheavals. For certain things has to come into the light, and we already know that what will come into the light from, you know exactly what sources I'm thinking about here. I don't even like to mention their positions in life, but certain leaders. If we were to go in and upheave every single document and actions they have done, I don't think we even would start to comprehend how disgusted we will be. I just have that feeling. And, well, transparency for everyone. Allowing a certain openness, so there is not a shadow of a doubt what your intentions are. Intentions must be kept pure daily. It is literally polishing and cleaning your intentions, washing them, even washing them with soap, and your intentions indicates a lot of your actions, feelings, and thoughts, and it even is reflected in them. So it is easy to perceive if you know what to look for, and that is the prudence we cultivate, the carefulness. We need to be observant, not paranoid. There is just an open observation and being open to there comes both beautiful forces out of a human being and ugly forces out of a human being. And what comes out most of the time is the ugly side, the exception. Then you are on your good path to development. Is your ugly side the standard and the good side the exception? What have you been feeding your soul and spirit? We need to change diet, I guess. If we choose to, in freedom. We do not wish to become a pain in the ass more than we need to be. But thank you so much. I love you so much. Take responsibility of your own inner being. Be strong in your own inner. And allow in only what you deem worthy of your own soul's spiritual development. For everything fights for your attention. Everything fights for you and your consciousness. So ignore what. Keep out of daylight consciousness what doesn't need to be there. Banish them to the subconscious. And master your thinking first. For when your thinking is mastered, you work down into the physical. Love you so much. Thank you. See you.